Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Radio Case Sports. We are excited to bring you yet another edition of live Gopher men's basketball. I'm Trask Angel alongside Grant Sandberg. The Minnesota Golden Gophers hosting the Purdue Boilermakers at Williams Arena here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We're set to go in just a few moments here, but first, Grant, what do you have in store for us today in this game?
It's going to be a great matchup, Trask. These two teams played just about 10 days ago. The Gophers looked great in the first half, but really struggled in the second half. Pretty much what they've done all year, ended up losing by almost 20 to the Boilermakers. The Boilermakers, since that, though, have struggled a bit. They then lost to Maryland by a point. Maryland, decent team, but not amazing. And then they just barely beat Northwestern. So now coming into this game, they haven't played amazing since then. And so it'll be interesting to see, especially coming here to Minnesota, playing at the Barn. Coach Matt Painter is actually under 500 at the Barn in his career. He's 5-6, which is very surprising considering how great of a coach he is. Purdue finally back in the top 25 this year. They're hovering right around 24 right now. And so the Gophers trying to get a big win against another ranked opponent.
Teams both coming out onto the floor. We have Robbins, Williams, Carr, Kalsher, and Johnson starting for the Gophers. On the other side for the Boilermakers, Gillis, Hunter Jr., Newman, Ivy, and Williams. The Gophers in all white today, moving left to right. And Purdue sporting the all black with the gold stripe down the shorts. They're moving right to left. The Golden Gophers coming off of a win, a much-needed win, and we'll see if they can repeat it here tonight as the ref whistles, steps in, and we'll put this ball in the air momentarily. And we are underway at Williams Arena. The Boilermakers will come away with the ball and come up the center of the court. Hunter Jr. will hand off to Ivy. Ivy handing to Newman. Newman up top, guarded one-on-one by Williams. He doesn't dribble, but passes off to Hunter Jr., who enters it down to Williams. Williams backs down Robbins and scores Minnesota ball.
That's going to be a key matchup today, Williams versus Robbins in the paint.
Marcus Carr bringing the ball down the center, guarded closely by Hunter Jr. Boilermakers manned up, playing inside the three-point line. Brandon Johnson has it up top. He's going to float it into Robbins. Robbins, easy layup. Gophers tied 2-2.
Nice feed in there by the Gophers. They've struggled passing down low to Robbins in the past few games. See if they can fix that.
Again, Hunter Jr. will have it. He'll dribble to the right side and hand it off. They'll come back up top. Ivy will enter it down low to Williams, who mishandles it. He's going to send it back to the top of the key, and we have a whistle as there was a collision up top. Looked like a foul on Trey Williams, number 1 for the Gophers.
Yeah, I think Robbins actually got away with a foul as he pushed Williams as he was trying to grab it there. Luckily, they didn't get called because that's a big issue for Robbins, is getting into foul trouble.
18:58 left to play in the first half. Boilermakers inbound from the near sideline. Hunter Jr. dribbling up top. He'll fire it over to Williams, who receives it on the elbow. Back to Hunter Jr. He enters it back down. A nice spin move there. Beats Robbins, but the shot is no good. Rebounded by Brandon Johnson of the Gophers, and Marcus Carr will bring it up near side. 18:33 left to play. Marcus Carr dribbles around, floats it into Johnson, and lays it in. Gophers up by 2. 18:24 to play. Gophers lead 4-2 over the Boilermakers here early at Williams Arena. It'll be Newman who enters it down low to Williams. Williams stationary. He's going to dribble 3 times, spin inside, blocked by Robbins. Boilermaker ball.
Great job by Robbins. You know, we've talked about it, Trask, already quite a few times today. The battle in the paint is going to be huge. The Gophers gave up a lot of points to the Huskers in the last game in the paint, so they can see, let's see if their defense can close down.
Boilermakers inbound to Williams, who has it out on the wing. He'll reverse it out to Hunter Jr. Hunter Jr. will get a screen, shooting in the corner, and rattles it in. Purdue up by 1. 17:54 to play. Purdue, and that shot was counted as a 2, so we are tied 4-4. Carr will give it to Kalsher on the wing, far side. He gives it to Williams in the corner. Williams will back himself up and dribble up. He enters it to Robbins on the block. He'll dribble out as he's double-teamed. He tries to reverse it back to Johnson, and he fumbles the ball. So the Gophers turn it over. Purdue comes down the other way. Hunter Jr. passes it across for Purdue. Ball's mishandled. Nice job by Marcus Carr, and over and back is called. Good defense, Marcus Carr.
Great call by the referee there, too. That foot was barely over the line, but he saw it, blew the whistle, and made the right call there. But like you said, I mean, that was pretty much forced because of Marcus Carr.
17:25 to play. Gophers tied with the Boilermakers 4-4. Brandon Johnson will inbound it along the near sideline. Marcus Carr will bring it across half court, still guarded by Hunter Jr. Marcus Carr gets down to the far corner. He's double teamed, reverses it out to Robbins. Robbins thinks about shooting, then turns it around. Him and Marcus Carr will hand it off. Good double team there by Purdue. That shot is no good for Marcus Carr. And we're going to have a shot clock violation as that ball never touched the rim, Grant.
Yeah, a bit of a weird play there as Robbins and Carr just were acting like it was just the two of them on the court. They need to look around, whip it around to Kalsher and Johnson and get them more involved.
Purdue will have the ball up top, 20 to shoot with 16:50 left in the first half. Williams hands it off to Hunter Jr. Hunter Jr. stalls out at the elbow, and he'll back it up, hand it off to Gillis. Gillis long three off the back iron, no good. Rebounded far block by Williams. Williams blocked by Robbins, puts it back, no good. Rebound Kalsher of the Gophers, and Minnesota gets another defensive stop. Marcus Carr coming down quickly, and another miscommunication with Brandon Johnson as this ball's turned over. And 23, Ivy of Purdue will send a long three from the near corner, no good. And on the rebound, Kalsher hits the floor, and a whistle is called. We await to see who the foul is on.
Kalsher hit the floor pretty hard there. Looks like he's going to be okay walking up a bit gingerly.
Foul called on number 0, Gillis of Purdue, as Williams will check out of the game for the Boilermakers. 16:18 left to play, still tied at 4. Marcus Carr will bring the ball up slowly for the Gophers, still guarded very closely by Hunter Jr. of the Boilermakers. He gets across half court. He'll get a screen from Robbins. On the wing, he'll drive to the block, reverses underneath. Beautiful shot, Marcus Carr, 6'4" Gophers. Purdue wastes no time. They'll come up the near side of the court. Hunter Jr. has to spin out, though, and reset this offense. 20 to shoot for the Boilermakers. Wheeler into the game, number 1. He'll pass it off to Newman, who drains the three up top. Purdue up 7-6. 15:40 left to play here in the first half in Minneapolis. Gophers trail by 1. This ball's entered to Brandon Johnson on the elbow. He'll hand it off to Trey Williams, who then passes it off to Marcus Carr. On the far wing, Marcus Carr will bounce pass to Johnson, who reverses it over to Robbins. Robbins now pivoting. 5 seconds to shoot for the Gophers. Marcus Carr is going to have to force it. 16 jumper near side. No good. Rebound Purdue. 23, Ivy has it for Purdue, as he'll bring it up the near sideline. Stop on the wing, guarded by Williams. He'll drive the lane, float it up, no good. Ball bounces around. Brandon Johnson has it briefly, then hands it to Kalsher. Gophers quickly the other way. 14:50 left to play in the first half. Trey Williams looking for something, can't find it. Kalsher thinks about the three, step back, drains it. 2 points good, 8-7 Gophers.
Great job by Kalsher there, staying in the play and knowing he's not hitting the threes right now, but step in a few feet and get that guaranteed 2 points.
14:30 to play, 19 to shoot for the Boilermakers. Wheeler passes over to Eddie. Eddie hands it off to Wheeler. Wheeler on the far wing. They enter it to Eddie, and he knocks it over Robbins. 9-8, Boilermakers lead. Marcus Carr will bring the ball up for the Gophers up the center of the court. 14:10 to play as Minnesota trails Purdue by 1. Marcus Carr bounce pass, enters it to Robbins. Give and go to Johnson in the middle, and we saw Johnson yet again give up the ball, but a foul is called.
Foul is called. He was starting to lose control there. The whole team is kind of reminding me of Marcus Carr right now. Playing well, but just a little bit out of control. We'll see if they'll be able to regain control, calm down, as they're only down 1 point right now, headed into the first media timeout. So we'll be back in just a couple minutes here live from Dinkytown, Radio K Sports, Real Sports Radio.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's Radio K Sports, Real Sports Radio, live on YouTube, bringing you Gopher men's basketball. Today they are hosting the Purdue Boilermakers. A close game so far, 8-9. The Minnesota Golden Gophers trail, 14:03 left to play in the first half. I'm Trask Angel, alongside Grant Sandberg. We want to thank everyone who has tuned in so far today. Encourage you to tune in the future. Like and subscribe, and you'll get notifications every time we go live for the multiple Gopher sports that we do, as both teams are back out on the court here. Minnesota ball underneath. They'll inbound on the far side, and it's Mashburn Jr. who has checked into the game. He'll inbound to Marcus Carr. Marcus Carr will feed it back to Mashburn Jr. Mashburn Jr. doesn't shoot. He'll give it to Carr. Carr will drive. Carr will kick. Mashburn Jr. has it on the far side. Finds Carr in the corner. That three is good. The Gophers up 11-9.
Great job moving the ball around the three-point line there, and Marcus Carr always moving, and it leads to 3 points.
13:35 left to play. Marcus Carr again gets a hand on the ball. Gets it to Gabe Kelscher. Kelscher drives and is blocked down low. Referee signals still Gopher ball. But again, a forced turnover by Marcus Carr.
Yes, Marcus Carr doing well there, and not only the forced turnover, but an amazing, almost leaping pass to stop the ball from going out of bounds. Luckily, he's okay as he tripped over the scorekeeper.
The block goes to number 1, Wheeler on the Boilermakers. Kelscher will inbound to Robbins. Robbins in the near corner. He's going to dribble himself into the lane, pass to Carr. Carr drives to the block, little jumper, off the glass, no good. Rebound Robbins, stripped by the Boilermakers. Wheeler comes away with it. He'll hand it off to Hunter Jr. Hunter Jr. quickly down the near sideline, 13-10 to play. He gets a double screen, works his way to the far elbow. Fighting down low for position is Robbins and Eddie. Long three, no good from Purdue. Rebounded by Eddie of Purdue, and he loses it. Gabe Kalsher will have it up the near side. He stops at the wing, hands it to Mashburn Jr., who swings it around to Carr. Carr gets a screen from Robbins. He'll stop at the free throw line. Marcus Carr kicks out to Kalsher. Kalsher in the corner, no good. Ball bouncing around, rebounded by Robbins out beyond the three-point line. Gophers will reset with 15 to shoot. Mashburn Jr., guarded by Newman. Minnesota swinging the ball around along the three-point line. Carr gets tangled up and passes to Robbins. Robbins' three is no good. Rebounded by 15, Eddie of Purdue. Still 11-9, Gophers lead. 12:15 to play in the first half. Newman, number 5, has it for Purdue up top. The ball will swing around, get entered to 15, Eddie down low. Robbins spins around, pokes the ball away. Gabe Kalsher picks up the ball and hands it to Carr. Carr across to Kalsher. The three is good. Minnesota leads 14-9. 11:50 to play here in the first half. Purdue taking their time, slowing things down. Hunter Jr. will give it to Newman. Newman gives it to number 55, Stefanakik. Wheeler has it on the wing. He'll swing it back around to Newman. Newman passing it. It'll be Wheeler in the corner who has it, guarded closely by Enan. Short jumper for Newman of Purdue. Doesn't get it. Gets his own rebound. Sends it up again. Off the glass and off of Eddie of Purdue. Minnesota ball.
It looks like that's going to take us into the next media timeout. Before we talk about that, Trask, though, I want to talk about how young this Purdue team is. Out of all 347 teams in D1, Purdue is 331st when it comes to experience. They don't have a single senior on their team, a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores, and only a couple juniors. It's part of why Purdue struggled at the beginning, but now is doing better here in these last few weeks. Do you think them being such a young team will turn into a potential advantage for the Gophers here at the barn if it's a close game in the second half?
It'll be interesting because Purdue did play the Gophers so well in the second half, and the first time they matched up, and like you said, Purdue has only gotten better. I think the Gophers can take advantage, though, of some of the inexperience of Purdue. We have some veteran leaders on our team that can take advantage of intense situations later on. We'll see what the Gophers can do, though, as they have also struggled late in the games, even with the experience. So the Gophers will have to keep their head on them and keep the ball safe as we move into the second half of this one.
We'll be right back on Radio K Sports in just a couple minutes here, live on YouTube.
You've got a pocket full of gold. This trick you're playing's getting old. You've got a pocket full of gold. This trick you're playing's getting old. Too young to be lazy, don't tell me you're a maybe. And I know you and you know me. It's getting deeper in this big sea. The old lady tells me it's hard and my time is short. And you've got your game and I've got mine. Shouldn't really take much time. You've got your game and I've got mine. Shouldn't really take much time. Half know how to play it and half know how to say it without losing everything we've got. It may be small, it's not a lot. Need it when that day comes, we'll need it when that day comes.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's Radio K Sports live on YouTube, bringing you the Minnesota Golden Gophers and Purdue Boilermakers. 11:23 left to play in the first half. I'm Trask Angel alongside Grant Sandberg. The Golden Gophers currently lead 14-9. Gophers shooting about 50% from the field. Purdue 29%. Minnesota on a 6-0 run. Things off to a rocky start as Minnesota fumbles the inbounds pass, but Mashburn Jr. will recover. Coming up the near sideline, Kalsher has it up top. He's going to pass it over to Carr. Carr will avoid the screen from Eric Curry. He gets double teamed down low, and he'll swing it back around. Mashburn Jr. up top gives it to Enan. Enan 3. It's short off the front of the rim. Rebound by Purdue. Purdue will bring it up the center of the court. 10:50 to play. Purdue taking their time. Gophers still manned up defensively. Entering it down low to Williams. Williams guarded by Curry. Williams dribbles, spins into the lane, floats it over. It's good. 11-14 Gophers. Mashburn Jr. leading the charge for Minnesota. Guarded by Thompson, number 11. Mashburn Jr. dribbling around. Jump shot. Free throw line is good. And a whistle. Gophers lead currently 16-11.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the call is here, but it looks like it might be an and one opportunity for Mashburn.
Mashburn Jr. at the line, so 10:26 to play. Brandon Johnson back in for the Gophers. Gophers currently lead by 5. Mashburn with a chance to make it 6. First free throws attempted today, and it's no good. Rebounded by 50 Williams, and Purdue will come the other way. 10:20 to play in the first half. Minnesota looking to beat the number 24 Purdue Boilermakers. Entering it down low, and it's no good as it's poked away by Eric Curry. He'll send it ahead to Mashburn Jr., who quickly lays it in. Gophers lead 18-11. 10 to play in the first half. Purdue bringing up over across half court. They'll swing it around in front of the Gopher bench. Williams will hand it off to 23 Ivy. Ivy gets stalled out by Booth Gotch. Long 3 from Wheeler, no good. Bounces around. Booth Gotch comes away with it. He'll bring it up the other way. Eric Curry having the ball on the wing. He'll hand off to Mashburn Jr. Mashburn Jr. floater in the lane, no good. Rebounded by Williams. Purdue swings it the other way. 9:25 to play. Purdue moving quickly. Enters it to Williams. Williams, quick bucket. They trail by 5. 19:15 to play in the first half. Mashburn Jr. guarded by Thompson all the way up the court. Mashburn gets a screen from Brandon Johnson. He'll get double teamed, sends one off the glass, and it's good. Gophers lead 2013.
Mashburn Jr. having just a great game, already 6 points in 5 minutes, and the one he missed just barely lipped out, so I think he could have a great night tonight.
Purdue swinging the ball around, entering it down low to Williams again, and another backdoor bucket for the big man. They trail by 5. 18:40 to play. Purdue trailing 15-20. Mashburn Jr. gives it to Eric Curry on the elbow. Curry will back himself up, hand off to Kalsher. Kalsher tries to get one in, won't go. Rebound Johnson, and it's good. 22-15 Gophers.
Great tip-in by Johnson, but really the reason he even had that opportunity was the way he boxed out and put himself in a great spot to tip it in.
18:15 to play in the first half. A bad pass by the Boilermakers, and it's recovered by the Gophers. Mashburn Jr. brings the ball up the far side. He'll give it to Kalsher in the corner. Kalsher enters it to Eric Curry, and Eric Curry will get it poked away. So turnover Gophers as Purdue comes the other way. 17:53 to play. 23 Ivy has it up top, guarded by Booth Gotch. The screen leads to a double team. Now he's loose on the baseline. And another pass to Williams, and it's going to be a foul. So Williams to the line to shoot one.
Williams is just outmanning most of this Gopher team right now. They are not looking great in the paint. On the plus side, though, the Gophers are looking very good. Swinging the ball around the three-point line has led them to a lot of three-pointers that have been open, including, Gabe Kalsher even making a three-pointer, which we haven't seen much of. And so it'll be interesting now, more than halfway through this first half, if the Gophers can continue that and if the Gophers can start locking down the paint, I think they're going to have a great opportunity to win this game.
Yeah, Gophers looking good offensively, like Grant said. If they can shut down Williams, though, as he's had too many open looks in the paint, we'll see what they can do coming out of this media timeout. The Gophers leading the Boilermakers 22-17. We'll be back right after this on Radio K Sports.
Yourself a night. Well, it's alright, it's alright. You're taking a look outside. It's a blue world, blue world. Even if you're colorblind, it's still a blue world, blue world. Now you know the CD enough. What's your plan to ensure that our children have a planet to inhabit, to inhabit, to inhabit? Breed of man could kill us all if they don't hear us calling. Breed of man could kill us all. Love and love and compassion. Demand action, demand action. Demand some action.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Minnesota Golden Gophers facing off against the Purdue Boilermakers here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Thank you for joining us on Radio K Sports. I'm Trask Angel alongside Grant Sandberg. As we come out of the media timeout, Purdue has a free throw pending as Williams, the big man for the Boilermakers, has an and one opportunity, scoring a layup as the whistle blew. Purdue, 3 of their last 3 on field goals. They're now shooting 42% from the field. 17-22. Free throw from Williams is good. 18-22. Gophers lead by 4. Brandon Johnson inbounds to Marcus Carr. Carr once again guarded closely all the way up the court by Hunter Jr. Minnesota spreading it out. Robbins flashes to the lane, no good. Minnesota enters it to Robbins. Robbins gets blocked by 50 Williams. Purdue coming the other way, 7:20 on the clock. Purdue slows down, resets. Hunter Jr. passes to Gillis. Gillis over to Ivy. Ivy guarded by Mashburn. Ivy drives on Williams. Williams with another block, and it's rebounded by Johnson. Gophers the other way, 17:03 to play. Carr thought about the 3, gives it to Mashburn. Mashburn 3 is short. Robbins' rebound is short. Rebounded by Purdue, and they're coming up the near side. Hunter Jr. leading the way. They'll stall out on the far side free throw line. Passing it back to Gillis. Gillis enters it to 50 Williams. Williams takes the jump shot, and it's good. Purdue trails by 2.
Williams is just dominating Liam Robbins right now. Robbins is going to have to do something defensively.
16:30 to play, 20 to shoot for the Gophers. Carr standing in the center of the court. Looking for a screen from Johnson. He'll now bounce pass it to Johnson. Mashburn enters it along the baseline to Robbins. Robbins finds Johnson in the dunk from Brandon Johnson. Gophers lead 24-20.
Johnson is having a great game, already 6 points. Honestly, I think he's doing better than Liam Robbins in terms of handling the paint.
Minnesota back on defense, manned up against the Boilermakers. Gillis thinks about driving. Instead, he'll pass to Hunter. Hunter to Williams. Williams back to Hunter. Up top, thinks about going. He pauses twice and forces a pass out. Good defense by Carr. Purdue again thinks about driving. Long jumper, no good. Rebound Williams, and Williams can't get it to go. Robbins with the rebound, and he commands the ball. Getting it to Carr with 5:40 to play. Carr up the near side. Quick three from Carr. Too long, no good. Rebounded by Ivy. Ivy and the Boilermakers back on offense. Look to drive in the paint, and another wide open bucket there for Williams. 22-24. Purdue trails by 2.
Yeah, timeout here by the Gophers, and Patino is yelling at Carr, and I don't blame Patino. Carr all of a sudden just runs up the court and just hucks up this three-pointer when Robbins was trailing behind you, wide open, could have taken a shot. You could have kicked it around. Ill-advised decision by Marcus Carr there, especially considering what the Gophers have been doing has been working. Moving methodically, swinging the ball around the court. It's worked well, and so it'll be interesting to see where this continues. In terms of defensively, though, Liam Robbins is really going to have to get a lot better, especially with blocking out. Only 1 defensive rebound. He has 3 offensive rebounds, but defensively he's really struggling. And Williams on Purdue already has 15 points, most of that coming up against Liam Robbins. So he's really going to need a lockdown on defense, or he's just going to have to get hot on offense.
Minnesota has the ball coming out of the timeout, leading by 2, 5:25 to play in the first half. Booth Gotch will have the ball near sideline, and they'll swing around. Eventually ends up in the hands of Marcus Carr. Carr looking for a screen from Curry. He gets it, but ends up double-teamed on the baseline and tries to force a shot. No good. Gillis of Purdue with the rebound. Hunter Jr. has it for the Boilermakers. He finds Newman. Newman 3, no good. Rebound Boilermakers. And Gillis puts it in for 2. We're tied at 24.
Marcus Carr looked like he got pushed down. I thought he might have been injured, but he gets up and is walking gingerly as he brings the ball up.
4:45 to play, 20 to shoot for the Gophers. Tied here in Minneapolis at 24 apiece. Purdue manned up against this Gopher offense. Brandon Johnson has it up top. He'll pass to Carr, who dribbles back to the top of the key. Swinging around to Kalsher. Kalsher thinks about the corner 3, and he won't get it. He'll give it back to Curry. Carr launches a long 3 at the buzzer over 2 defenders. That won't go. Rebounded by Purdue, and they'll come the other way. 4:15 to play. Purdue with the ball along the three-point line. They're going to enter it to Eddie. Eddie tries to force it over the top of Curry, and we have a whistle. 2 free throws on the way.
This game is looking eerily similar to the game in West Lafayette just a couple weeks ago. Gophers start out great, have a decent lead, and it's slowly falling apart here now. You're giving up just too many points in the paint. You're just fouling a lot now. And then offensively, the last 3 possessions have looked really bad. Marcus Carr is just trying to take control of the game, which obviously isn't working.
Both teams now 11 for 26 from the field, as Minnesota has not scored in over 2 minutes. Purdue now with the lead at 25-24 as the first free throw from Eddie is good. Minnesota with a few substitutions. Booth Gotch leaving the court. Trey Williams back in. Second free throw from Eddie is good. So Purdue with a 2-point lead with 4:09 to play. Marcus Carr will take his time bringing this ball up. Hunter Jr. with him all the way along the near sideline. He stops at the wing. Gets down into the near corner. Behind the back pass, swing it around. Brandon Johnson from the far corner and a short. This ball bouncing around, rebounded by Curry. Curry can't hold on. Purdue quickly the other way. Hunter Jr. floats it up to Wheeler, and it's an alley-oop dunk. Gophers trail by 4.
Great try by the Gophers there with the swinging it around the three-point line, but it just didn't work for them.
Marcus Carr gets across half court, taking his time, waiting for the offense to set up. Weaving between 3 defenders. He'll give it to Johnson along the three-point line, who will dribble over to Trey Williams in front of the Purdue bench. Williams, baseline, 16-footer, no good. The scoring drought continues for Minnesota. Hunter Jr. of Purdue has it. He takes a jump shot, and that's good. Nothing but net. 13-24 Purdue. 13:05 to play. Marcus Carr once again for the Gophers. Gophers haven't scored in nearly 3.5 minutes. Marcus Carr drives the lane, kicks to Kalsher. Quickly covered up by Newman, though, as the Gophers will have to reset. Eric Curry, three-pointer from the far corner. Air ball too long. Wheeler will rebound in the paint. 2:40 to play, and Purdue is on a roll right now. Hunter Jr. will wait for his Boilermaker offense to reset. 18 to shoot. He'll drive, stop at the right elbow. He's going to hand it off to Morton. Morton will dribble in, but he decides not to shoot. He'll kick this ball out. Purdue has 7 to shoot, now 5. Looking for a three. It's not open. Wheeler is, though, and Wheeler's three is no good. Good box out Eric Curry. Marcus Carr brings it the other way for the Gophers. Gets himself into the lane, but kicks it out to Williams. Williams, jumper from the free throw line. It's good. Gophers 26, Purdue 30.
Finally, the Gophers get something there after 4 minutes plus of not getting any points on the board.
Just under 2 minutes. Gophers won for their last 7. Purdue will take their time, handing the ball off between 3 or 4 of them along the three-point line. Morton will end up with it on the near wing. He'll pass it back to Hunter Jr., who enters it to Eddie. Eddie floats it over. Curry, no good. Williams with the rebound. Minnesota back the other way. On the far side is Williams. Gets a screen from Johnson. Williams drives to the free throw line in the lane. Finds Eric Curry. Eric Curry puts it up, but he's fouled. 2 free throws on the way for Minnesota.
Good job by Eric Curry there. He looked a bit rattled in those first few possessions that he had subbed in for, but he was really looked good there, got in the right position, and like you pointed out, the play earlier, his box out created an easy rebound for the Gophers. So Gophers are struggling, still down 4 right now, but immediate timeout here and 1:23 left in the first. We'll see what they can do. We'll be back here in just a couple minutes.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Radio K Sports. Minnesota has 2 free throws on the way. They trail the Purdue Boilermakers 26-30 with 1:23 left. I'm Trask Angel alongside Grant Sandberg. I want to thank everyone who has tuned in and joining us today. Remember to like and subscribe so you get notifications every time Radio K Sports goes live, because we don't just do basketball. We have football, volleyball, baseball, softball, all sorts of Gopher sports to bring you live here on YouTube. Eric Curry makes both his free throws, so the lead is down to 2 for Purdue. Hunter Jr. will bring the ball up, hand off to Morton. Morton gives it up to Wheeler. Wheeler hands it over to Ivy. Hunter Jr. gives it to Morton in the lane, and it's going to be handed off to Ivy. It's going to be handed off to Wheeler in the lane. And as he goes up, he gets fouled, so 2 free throws for Purdue.
Positives for the Gophers right now, at least you're not in foul trouble. Last game against the Cornhuskers was a crazy game. Both teams in a lot of foul trouble here, but that's Liam Robbins. That's only his first foul, so nothing to worry about on that front.
We saw multiple Gophers foul out of the game earlier this week, and also multiple Cornhuskers fall out of the game earlier this week. A lot of fouls called and a lot of stopping in that game. A lot of free throws. Gophers end up winning the one earlier this week. Purdue misses both free throws there. And so just under a minute, Minnesota has a chance to tie or take back the lead. Marcus Carr up top will drive the lane. A quadruple team, and he sneaks it in. Gophers tied 30 apiece. Purdue with 44 seconds will look to regain the lead as they'll drive on Trey Williams, and a whistle is called before they even get past the three-point line. So we have a foul, and the horn blows as Mashburn Jr. is coming back in the game for the Gophers.
And I think that's the right call. Before Carr made that last shot, Mashburn Jr. was the leading scorer. He's 3 for 5 from the field with an assist, and in 9 minutes already has 6 points.
Gophers on a 6-0 run over the past minute and a half. Purdue hasn't scored now in the past 2.5 minutes, so potentially Gophers able to reset after that last timeout, get themselves calmed down a little bit, as we have another timeout called, this time by Purdue. So 38.6 seconds left, 23 to shoot, each team at 30 points apiece. And Grant, this is looking like it's going to be a pretty competitive game. Both these teams averaging just over 70 points per game on the season. We're on pace for that right now. What do the Gophers have to do, to finish out this half here?
I think finishing out this half, get the ball back, and this is one of the few times you do want to run down the court, get a quick shot off, go for the 2-for-1, so that even if you miss that first opportunity, you'll get another chance at it. And worst case here, you're down 3 or so at halftime, and that's good. You're playing the 24th best team in the country, so being down 3 at halftime is not bad at all, but it will be about the second half adjustments that Coach Patino and those assistants can make in the locker room.
38.6 on the clock. Purdue getting ready to inbound in front of the Gopher bench on the sideline. They'll lob it in. It'll be Williams who reins it in. He'll hand it off to Hunter Jr. up top. Gophers manned up defensively. 15 to shoot for the Boilermakers. Williams gets it on the free throw line. He'll pass it to Ivy. Ivy dribbles all over the place. Ends up finding few in the corner. They'll give it back to Gillis, and he gives it to Ivy. Ivy lays it in. The Gophers trail by 2 as they'll come down with 10 seconds remaining in the first half. Marcus Carr gets across half court with 7 on the clock. Marcus Carr to the wing. Marcus Carr drives, kicks out. Kalsher contested 3. Can't get it to go as the buzzer sounds. And so we head into halftime with a score that reads 30-32 in favor of the Purdue Boilermakers. Minnesota had a rough last 5-6 minutes, but got it turned around to keep this game close. We'll see what they can do after the halftime intermission. When we come back for the second half, Grant will take over the play-by-play, but we'll both still be here on Radio K Sports. Thanks for joining us, and stick with us. We'll be back soon.
Welcome back, everyone, here live on Radio K Sports, Real Sports Radio. Trask, the Gophers are losing 32-30, but it was a close first half. What were your takeaways from that first half?
Well, I think the biggest one was the Gophers' inability to block Williams down low of the Boilermakers. The big man, number 50, has just had a field day. He's got 15 points. He's 7 for 11 from the field. He's got 3 offensive rebounds, 2 defensive rebounds, and he's also got a block in there as well. He's played 11 minutes in this game, and he's the leading scorer for this Purdue team. Gophers have to find a way to bottle him up and slow him down in the lane. At least give him less open looks in the lane. Make him fight for those shots down low. And then on the offensive side for the Gophers, you're shooting 41% from the field. You're not shooting great from the three-point line, only 2 for 12. But continue to get that ball into the lane, continue to shoot, and things will go well for you offensively. Just don't turn the ball over. We've seen less turnovers so far in this game than we have in the past couple, but continue to take care of the ball, and you'll be in a good spot. Other than that, Grant, I think the Gophers just have to focus on not letting Purdue go on big runs in this game, and just calm down. It's going to be okay. We've seen too many collapses in the second half. You're fine. You went on a stretch in that first half that wasn't great, and you recovered. You can do the same thing in the second half. So just collectively as a group, calm down and don't turn the ball over.
Yeah, it will be interesting because the Gophers are definitely a great team, more experienced than this Purdue team, but they've already collapsed to Purdue in a second half just a couple weeks ago. So will Purdue be able to build off that momentum and destroy the Gophers here in the second half? Or will the Gophers come back and dominate and win this one and get another top 25 win? We shall see here as the second half is underway. From Minneapolis, Marcus Carr drops it off to Johnson near the left elbow to Williams. Kalsher near side drops it into Robbins in the paint. Robbins drops it off to Johnson. And nice job there by Johnson as he lays it in to tie this one up.
Nice job by Johnson following the shot and getting the rebound, laying it in. Easy bucket.
Ivy dribbles it with the left hand to the far side. Now coming back right hand, passes it off to Gillis, who thought about the three, decides to lay it in instead. Purdue with the bucket.
That's too easy for Purdue. Robbins has got to step up in the lane sooner and stop that shot from going off.
Carr with it past half court now, drops it to Robbins, far side. Robbins got it knocked away by Williams. Kalsher back to Johnson, whips it to Robbins right through his hands, out of bounds, Purdue ball.
All right, we just talked about it at halftime. You got to limit the turnovers, and the Gophers within the first minute turn that ball over. We've seen a few miscommunications on passes throughout the game today. Gophers have to keep it clean to stay in this game.
Hunter Jr. passes it now to Ivy. Ivy looking on the far side as a pick from Williams will give him an opening to the right elbow. Knocked away by Johnson. Back to Newman, though, and he shoots the three. It was contested and off the front rim. Carr with the long rebound. Carr moving fast. Right hand switches it to left hand here. Robbins now with the three. And this one's just going to be a brick, and it looks like we're going to have a foul on Kalsher. Looked like he hooked number 0, Gillis.
Gophers did a better job on the defensive end of rotating and helping stop the pass from getting down in the lane, but it's got to be even sooner. And offensively, an interesting shot from Robbins. You're not shooting well from the three-point line. Let's get ourselves down into the lane and start shooting more points in the paint before we try to go out to the three-point line.
Hunter Jr. with it now across half court. Gets it down low to Williams. Spin move, and it totally fooled Robbins. Easy bucket.
Again, Robbins gets tied up and then turned around in the lane. Williams running all over the place on him right now. Gophers need a new strategy to guard Williams.
Carr now with it, brings it to the far side, right over the barn logo, drops it to Robbins, now to Williams. Williams at the top of the key, Johnson. Robbins with it, near side now, just outside of the paint. He's trying to back his way into the paint, and this one is going to not go in as it just dribbled off, but a foul is called on Williams. So 2 shots coming here for Liam Robbins.
Williams shaking his head, didn't think he fouled Robbins there. Looked like he got a chunk of his wrist, though, on that shot. Robbins patient here. He took his time backing Williams down, and then a quick turn into the lane allowed him a little bit of a window. Like to see Robbins a little more dominant defensively now, as it looks like his offensive game is starting to accelerate a little bit in this game. Hopefully he can ramp it up defensively and stop Williams, who's already got 17 points today.
And still only one defensive rebound for Robbins. Robbins made the first, and he'll also make the second free throw. So Gophers 34, Boilermakers 36 as Purdue brings it up the court. It's Hunter Jr. now across half court, guarded rather tightly by Marcus Carr as he drops it near side to number 0, Gillis. Gillis passes it to Williams. Williams on the elbow. Fakes the handoff to Hunter Jr. Now Newman with it near side to Gillis, who lobs it into Williams. Thought about the give and go. No. Williams goes baseline. Almost loses it out of bounds. Ivy with it. 2 to go on the shot clock. He's going to need to get it up. The ball's loose, and it's going to be a 30-second shot clock violation. Great defense by the Gophers.
Good job by Robbins, staying a little more upright, holding his ground on that drive baseline, forces Williams off balance, and then a nice job by Brandon Johnson, staying straight up in the lane, being big, and they end up losing the ball, getting panicked because of the shot clock, and force a turnover.
Marcus Carr now being tightly guarded here. Johnson with it just off the fingertips there. Now Kalsher with it down low, gets it to Robbins and a wide open Johnson in the paint. Easy layup there for Johnson.
Great hesitation by Brandon Johnson, having himself a day. He's got 8 points, only 1 foul. He's played a lot of this game, though. Keep an eye on him the rest of the way.
We're all tied up, 36 all. Hunter Jr. for Purdue is driving now. Carr guarding him. Newman is going to drive left-hand, step back on the elbow, tried to force the foul, didn't work. And this ball is just an air ball. Bad shot, out of bounds, Gophers ball.
Not great defense by Williams. He gets over there a little late and then leaves his feet. But a good job after he lands of staying straight up. And then kind of a weird attempt by Purdue to just jump into him. Love the no call there from the referees, as obviously there was no contact or minimal contact. Good job by the Gophers forcing another turnover.
Marcus Carr now bringing it up the court. Hunter Jr. guarding him as Carr brings it near side. Bounce pass to Johnson. Johnson, a terrible pass off the hand of Kalsher and out of bounds. Purdue ball.
Brandon Johnson has had a good game today. He's got double-digit points, but we've seen 2 or 3 times now, either he's on the receiving end or giving end of a bad pass, little miscommunication. Again, little things that the Gophers have to clean up.
Hunter Jr. with it on the barn logo near side. Bounce pass to Ivy. Ivy tries to drive left hand but is double teamed. Now Hunter Jr. tries to cross up Marcus Carr. He does get past him, lays it up and in, and it's good. Purdue up 38-36.
Help defense has to be better for the Gophers. They have to recognize that sooner and slide down in to not let that shot off.
Under 16 minutes now. Marcus Carr brings it up. Marcus Carr makes a nice move, and he's going to drive right to the lane, and the layup just goes out. Here comes Hunter Jr. now moving quickly for the Boilermakers. He gets past Robbins, and a long 3 from Ivy, and this one's off the back of the rim and close to a travel but not called. Another offensive rebound for Purdue, and another 3. This one rims out. Finally a rebound by Kalsher. Carr now brings it up. Carr's going to move fast like he always does, and blocked from behind there. Robbins gets the offensive rebound and just misses the shot. And now Purdue running it up the court rather quickly. Hunter Jr. drives, and this one is laid up and in. Purdue up 4.
Good hustle by the Gophers on the last defensive possession. Still, though, we see a lapse in that help defense. It's got to get better in these last 15 minutes.
Carr now wide open as he cuts to the right. A little floater and in right off the Big Ten logo. And the Gophers get back within 2 as we have our first media timeout of the first half here. Trask, what have you seen from this Gophers team so far in these first 5 minutes that you've liked, but then also something that they could still probably improve on?
Yeah, the Gophers have come out and played a pretty good first 5 of this second half. A couple turnovers, which are easy fixes right now. We're not getting panicked and turning the ball over. It's just a bad pass here or, a mishandled ball here. So that's not an area of concern at the moment. Defensively, the help defense just has to be better. And by help defense, I mean the rotation down low. If you want Robbins to step out and guard the guy driving into the lane, you have to have someone who rotates in behind him to stop Williams from getting the ball. So it has to be a team effort to continue to rotate and cover the guys in the lane to slow Purdue down. Gophers offensively are looking a little bit better, but continue to get good, clean shots. We don't want to see them forcing contested shots as we move into the back half of this second half. And with that, we have a media timeout, so we're going to take a break here on Radio K Sports. Purdue leads Gophers 40-38. We'll be back right after this.
Welcome back, everyone, here live on YouTube, Radio K Sports Radio, Real Sports Radio. I am Grant Sandberg alongside Trask Angel. It's been an exciting week, our second broadcast, and we've also recorded our podcast, The Sports Hour, that came out on Tuesdays. If you want to listen to it, just Google The Sports Hour Radio K. You'll listen to it on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you want. It's also live on air on KOM Radio K. So with that, we're back to the game. Under 15 to go now. Hunter Jr. drops it off to number 0, Gillis, tightly guarded by Johnson. 55 now, tries to lay it up and in. No, it was not a shot. It was an alley-oop, and Purdue, second alley-oop of the night. 42-38 now as Carr brings it up. Robbins with it at the top of the key, and he almost turns it over as it was a bad handoff to Kalsher. Kalsher's now going to drive. Thought it was a travel, and it will be as that pivot foot just slid a little.
Kalsher saw the big man closing down on him fast, and he realized it a half second too late. Had already picked up the dribble. Needed one more step to get the ball out and around him, and unfortunately ends up traveling. We have another timeout here, and it's another media timeout. So 14-16 left to go in this first half. We'll take another break here on Radio K Sports. We'll be back right after this.
Turn our hearts into edge trays.
Welcome back, everyone. We hope you're enjoying the music brought to you by Radio K, Real College Radio. Thank you to Emma, the music director, for selecting these songs for us. It's great music, Trask. Wouldn't you agree?
I agree. We always love listening to the different songs she sends us every week, so it's always fun.
Hunter Jr. with it now, drops it off to Thompson, who we have not seen much of today. 0 points and 1 foul. Gets it into Eddie, but Robbins with a great block, but they called a foul. He reached over the back, swatted the ball out of the way, but I guess they're going to call him for a foul.
I am going to have to say that may have been the most obvious foul Liam Robbins has committed all year. I thought that was the clearest. It looked like he hit all arm, no ball there.
I thought it was all ball, no arm. So now I think we might have to look at a replay here. Eddie makes the first one, puts the Boilermakers up 43-38.
Long story short, Grant, either way, Liam Robbins, again, gets beat in the lane and has to come flying in late. And that's why, either way, if it was a clean block, he's so stretched out there, it looks like a foul either way. And so now Minnesota, has to climb out of a 6-point hole.
Under 14 to play here. Coming off that last media timeout, Johnson with it near the top of the three-point line. Kalsher loses the ball, but it rolls to Mashburn Jr. Robbins with it now, getting near the baseline. Eddie right on him. Robbins trying to back him down. Robbins does and just loses the ball. Bad pass. Carr luckily gets it back. Mashburn with it now. 3 to go on the shot clock. He's going to have to skyhook it. No, it's a pass to Robbins. He slams it home. Liam Robbins, great pass by Mashburn to find him, and then Robbins slams it home. And guess what, folks? We got a chance for a 3-point play, and if he makes it, the Gophers cut this lead in half. They'd be down by only 3.
I would just like to acknowledge the height difference between number 11 Thompson and number 15 Eddie on Purdue. I think Thompson maybe came up to Eddie's top of his number, maybe.
It was close. Eddie is a big man for sure. 8 points tonight. He's had a great game for sure. As Liam Robbins does make the second one here. Again, great pass by Mashburn Jr. to get that in. So Gophers down 44-41. Eddie with it for Purdue. Gillis now has it wide open. Stefanovic misses the 3, but another offensive rebound by Gillis. Purdue has had a lot of those tonight. A long all the way court pass there. Hunter Jr. now just from the free throw line will make that. 46-41 Purdue leads. Carr brings it up the far side now. Drives with the right hand. Loses it and passes it, but it's going to be a foul called. Looks like it's blocking. Not sure who the foul will be on, but interesting strategy by Marcus Carr there. We've seen that a lot this year, and this time it paid off.
Just for reference, everybody, Zach Eddie is 7'4", and the 7'4",
Wow.
and the quote-unquote short number 11 Thomas, who we were talking about, 6'1".
6'1", wow. Shows so short, Trash. Under
He's
6
just
feet.
tiny.
Here comes the inbound play now as Carr's going to inbound this to Enan, who we have not seen much of today, just his 5th minute of the night. Carr back with it now as Enan gave it back to him. Carr from the elbow throws it off of Purdue's knees, and then he gets it back and lays it in for 2. Sneaky play by Marcus Carr.
We just see a huge bottleneck of people in the lane. Good job by Carr to float it up over the top of the traffic.
Hunter Jr. now gets it to Stefanovic. Stefanovic, 55, passes it to Wheeler. Wheeler 3 off the front rim, and guess what? Another offensive rebound by Purdue. Hunter Jr. with it now, kicks it to Thompson. Pass wasn't great, but Thompson still drives, and he has a bad shot, but it's going to be a foul called on Marcus Carr, so 2 free throws coming up for Thompson.
Looked like Marcus Carr dropped the right hand and then extended it down low on the lower back, which is the reason that Thompson was sent flying forwards. Minnesota right now looks a little scattered offensively. I think Liam Robbins is having some troubles getting around Eddie, but like we saw a few possessions ago with Mashburn Jr., if he can drive the lane and pull Eddie away with the help defense, we're able to get a pass over to Robbins to get the easy bucket. So Minnesota's got to get creative, and then more importantly, they have to move offensively. You have to set a screen or at least be moving. Don't let Purdue sit still defensively.
So free throws, they make one, miss one. So Purdue up 47-43 as the clock is going to tick under 12 minutes here. Marcus Carr now brings it up past half court. 18 to go on the shot clock here. Carr on the far side still hasn't passed it. Finally gets it to Kalsher. Kalsher for three, and way off there by Kalsher. Rebounded by Purdue, and it's going to be another foul on Marcus Carr as Thompson tried to run quickly past Carr, and it didn't work. Luckily, only Carr's second foul. So we'll see now as we go to another media timeout as we're under 12 minutes, Trask, and we'll be back here on Radio K in just a few minutes. So stay with us on Radio K Sports, Real Sports Radio.
Check why your phone is ringing. And what feels like 3 o'clock. You caught me sending out an SMS. Smooth sensations at your call. Because it's you who knows me best. Oh yes. And it's hard not to give it all. I saw that you got the message. I saw you thought and then delete. You tried hard to suppress it, but your curiosity can't be beat. I said, hey, long time no see. You were always good at bringing back the memories. Small talk is fine, no wine and dine without a chance that I could fall. You got me sending out an SMS. Smooth sensations at your call. Because it's you who knows me best. Oh yes. And it's hard not to give it all. I'm on my own, wondering how many go unsent to me. Go unsent to me. Oh, there goes my phone. Got me feeling hazy, like I'm going crazy. So easy, babe. Oh, I got a strong reception. You got me sending out an SMS. Smooth sensations at your call. Because it's you who knows me best. Oh, yes. And it's hard to give it up. Say yes to the SMS, say yes to the SMS. Say yes to the SMS, say yes to the SMS. Say yes to the SMS, say yes to the SMS. Ooh, and it's so hard not to give it, hard not to give it up.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's Radio K Sports, Real Sports Radio, live on YouTube. I'm Trask Angel alongside Grant Sandberg. Excited to bring you the last 11 minutes and 49 seconds of this Minnesota-Purdue men's basketball matchup. Minnesota currently trailing 43-47 as the Gophers have struggled to bottleneck Purdue in the paint. Purdue and the Gophers pretty balanced in this game overall, both about mid-40% shooting-wise. Gophers now shooting a little bit better from the three-point line. And both teams with almost Purdue with 30 points in the paint, Gophers with 24. We'll see what both of these teams have cooked up as we exit the media timeout. Mr. Sandberg, I'll hand it off back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Angel. Like Trask said, we're under 12 minutes now, so this game's getting close as Purdue gets it down low to number 23, Ivy, but it's going to be a travel call as he just took too many steps trying to get to the basket there.
Yeah, I think good job by the Gophers, just at least getting in his way, not giving him an open layup that we saw them give to Williams so many times today. Just getting in his way, throwing him off, causes the travel.
Carr brings it up now as he was pressured by Ivy. right within a second of him grabbing that ball. Gets it to Mashburn, back to Carr now, tries to get it into Robbins. He thought about passing it to Enan, but instead Robbins is going to keep it going one-on-one against Williams. The left-handed lob is in. Robbins, 45-47.
That's the first time we've seen Robbins turn baseline there, and it was a good job, a good change, got him an open look with the left hand.
Purdue still up by 2 now as they have the ball here, as they get it right back to Williams, going up against Robbins. Williams already with 17 tonight. It missed there. Just off the rim. Robbins rebounds. Now Carr with it, moving fast as ever, and this one does not go in off the front rim, rebounded by Purdue. Thompson with it now. Thompson drops it off to number 1, Wheeler. Wheeler tries to get it into Newman and does. Williams now with it outside the three-point line, likely not a threat from there as Thompson has it. And this one's going to be a foul called on Gabe Kalsher.
Gophers now with 5 team fouls, probably a point of concern or at least something to pay attention to if you're Patino. You got to make sure that we stay out of the bonus as long as possible. We don't want to give Purdue any extra opportunities. Gophers already fighting uphill this half. Don't give Purdue another advantage that they don't need.
Number 5, Newman will inbound this one to Hunter Jr. Hunter Jr. with double digits with points already tonight. He drives left hand, goes right past Robbins, and then Robbins runs back and fouls him. Not a smart decision there by Liam Robbins.
Robbins gets beat up top. All right, it's a guard coming past, a center. That's fine. You have the help defense there. The Gophers had slid into position. They were ready to play defense. And then Robbins, like you said, comes sprinting in and fouls from behind. At that point, you just need to realize you've been beat. Rotate over and cover a guy until your defense can reset. Instead, you give him 2 free points.
Interesting here is the refs have signaled that the foul was on number 23, Brandon Johnson, which is big because if Robbins got called for that foul, he'd be at 3 fouls. I was pretty sure that was on Robbins. Did you see anything different, Trask?
Grant, like we talk about, we're on the monitors here in Dinkytown, and so we didn't get an extra angle to see that foul, but like you said, thankfully it was on Johnson, so everyone stays in the game a little longer.
Hunter Jr. made both of his free throws as Johnson gives it to Mashburn. Carr with it near side now, gets it to Kalsher. Kalsher 3 contested, and this one's in. 48-49, Gophers down just 1.
Gabe Kalsher's second 3 of the night. His other misses, though, have been really bad misses, so I'm surprised he was able to get that one to go.
Ivy with it now for the Boilermakers. Now Newman has it to Ivy. Ivy gets it to Gillis, to Williams. Williams puts it up and in, and an and one opportunity for number 50, Williams.
A lot going on that play. I thought initially it was a bad shot from the three-point line, but instead it's a pass, gets it in over the head of Robbins. Good help defense by Kalsher and Carr to be there on the backside. And I guess he didn't travel on the replay there, but Williams, again, proving that he is going to be a threat here in the Big Ten for a few years to come.
Definitely, that is true. He's now at 20 points on the night as he makes that free throw. And the Gophers down 48-52, 9.5 to play. Marcus Carr brings it up, guarded by number 2, Hunter Jr. in those neon green shoes. Brandon Johnson gets it to Mashburn, down to Robbins, who's double teamed. Robbins tried to pass it and just put it right in the hands of Williams. Hunter Jr. now brings it up. Guarded by Kalsher, gives it to Williams, a quick give and go there. As Hunter Jr. drives left hand, kicks it out to Ivy for 3. And this one's off the front rim, rebound by Liam Robbins, just his 3rd defensive rebound of the night. Mashburn thinks about driving in, gets it to Robbins up top. Robbins tried to get it to Johnson, tipped away, ill-advised pass. Another turnover for Minnesota. As now Newman brings it up, and they get it down to Williams, already at 20 points. Can he make it 22? No. This shot just hits the front rim and won't go. Marcus Carr bringing it up far side now. Brandon Johnson, and he's getting double teamed as Marcus Carr. Brandon Johnson was open, couldn't find him. Mashburn's open now. Mashburn 3 missed, and this one almost rebounded offensively by Johnson, but it's off his hands and out of bounds. So Purdue will get the ball back up 52-48.
Kind of a chaotic sequence there, but It's nice to see Brandon Johnson, at least, it went off Brandon Johnson, but crashing the boards and getting in there. Most of the time we see the Gophers not boxing out defensively or bailing out offensively. So good to see them crashing the paint, trying to get the board, because they are currently being out-rebounded tonight once again. So we'll see 29-27. It's close. Let's see if they can get a few more and turn the tide of this game.
Hunter Jr., who's played a lot of minutes tonight, is bringing it back up. 26 minutes to be exact. Ivy now. Williams with it near the right elbow. Williams to Newman. Newman thought about the mid-ranger, chooses not, and it's going to be a foul off ball on Williams, the big man, as he just pushed Kalsher out of the way.
Yeah, we've seen Robbins and Williams be pretty physical in the paint on both ends of the ball all night, and Kalsher got in there. And maybe it was just as hard as Williams has been pushing Robbins, but Kalsher is a little bit smaller of a dude, so he went a little further. Either way, the Gophers get another turnover, another chance offensively.
Mashburn bringing the ball up as Carr has been subbed out for Booth Gotch. Gotch with it right away off the bench for three, and it just rims out. But an offensive rebound by Brandon Johnson. He lays it up and in, and one. And the Gophers are looking good. Down two with a chance to cut this lead to one.
Really nice job by Brandon Johnson. Again, continuing to have a good game. If you take away a few turnovers on bad passes, he has looked outstanding tonight. 12 points, a potential 13th on the way. Great rebounding by him, and great strength down low to put that ball up and get it in. I just want to comment before we go to break here is Booth Gotch is a guy we have not seen play very many minutes tonight. He has only been, 0 points. He's only been in for 7 minutes. At the start of the season, he was a guy who was out there with the starting five. As the season has gone on, he has just not produced offensively and has not been a real threat defensively. So maybe he can be a secret weapon for the Gophers in these last 8 minutes, put up some points, and potentially use his length to do something defensively. But with 7:51, we will take a short break here on Radio K Sports, and we'll be back right after this.
Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme, get on up, it's bobsled time. Sit and meditate, get into the flow of my breath and get my thoughts in control.
Welcome back, everyone. Grant Sandberg here along with Trask Angel. Sorry we're taking you away from that lovely music. That's one of Trask and I's favorite songs. Like we've talked about, Radio K's very generous for supplying those songs for us and supplying pretty much everything, our equipment and everything. We thank Radio K Sports again. We are Radio K Sports under the Radio K umbrella. If you're interested, feel free to email us, sports@radiok.org. and we can get you involved if you're a student here. As the free throw from Johnson is missed, unfortunately, so the Gophers still down 52-50. 7:40 to go in the game. Ivy drives right side. Newman now. And Eddie has it. The big man down low, 7-4, but he can't put it in. And Johnson loses the rebound. Kalsher steals it away, though, but it's knocked out of bounds. Good effort by the Gophers, but Purdue will keep the ball.
Again, we see the Gophers on defense starting to get themselves into the lane and into the lane early and getting in the way of these big men of Purdue and forcing them to take off-balance shots or bad shots, and Gophers almost forcing a turnover there.
Ivy with only 2 points tonight has the ball at the top of the key. He's going to drive left hand. Kalsher was there, but they call a block. Wow, I thought he had his feet pretty steady, but instead it will be a block on Kalsher. So 2 free throws coming up for Ivy here.
Man, that one is close, and it's one of those that probably could maybe go either way. It looked like Kalsher was maybe still moving, not quite in position when the contact happened. But either way, Gophers, we see again the trend. They're starting to recognize when they need to be over helping in the lane. Can we just do it? Can we get another half second from you? As now they're down by 3, potentially 4 after this next free throw.
Ivy made his first. Can he make the second? It does go in. So Purdue back up 54-50 here. Under 7 minutes to play by the time the Gophers get this next shot off. Mashburn bringing it up as Carr still out of the game. Brandon Johnson drives left hand. Nice pass to Robbins, who was not ready for it, and he just loses it out of bounds. Purdue will gain possession.
Been some passing mishaps related to Brandon Johnson. I don't put that one on him at all, though. He did a nice job sucking over the defenders onto the block. And then Liam Robbins was already starting to bail out of the lane instead of coming to the hoop. Good recognition by Johnson. Next time, let's hope Robbins can be there to slam one home.
Hunter Jr. already 12 points tonight. Hands it off to Ivy. Ivy dribbles right hand. He's at the top of the key. Thought about the 3, and he does shoot the 3 over Robbins off the rim. Johnson thought he had the rebound, but it's out of bounds. Purdue ball.
Johnson thought that one was off of Eddie for sure. And, we look at the replay here, and it looks like the ref got that one right. It was on Eddie's hand, but it looks like Johnson had the last kind of extension through the ball. And it is amazing how often the refs are right in real time, Grant.
It's pretty impressive there. Eddie's staying in the game here, but Purdue making a couple substitutions. Purdue with under 20 go on the shot clock now. Eddie has it. I mean, he makes Liam Robbins look small as Stefanovic whips it around to Hunter Jr. Hunter Jr. off the elbow a bit, mid-ranger, and this one's good.
Hunter Jr. just outstanding tonight. 6 for 8 from the field, 14 points. Really has led this offense.
Carr to Robbins. Robbins near the elbow, hands it to Carr. Carr behind the back as they just reset. Screen set by Robbins. Carr, step back, air ball, but it's right to Brandon Johnson who has it. Was he fouled? No call, but he lays it in anyways. Great job by Brandon Johnson there. 52 for Minnesota, 56 for Purdue. And Purdue's already moving quickly. Hunter Jr. with it. Guarded one-on-one by Marcus Carr. Gillis with it. Now gets it down low to 7-4 Eddie, and he just easily slams that home. 58-52.
I think Robbins got lucky there and didn't get a foul called on him as he was late, kind of hitting him on the dunk. But again, he gets beat underneath, and it's an easy point for Purdue.
Carr far side to Johnson. Johnson 3. Misses, but a foul off the ball on Hunter Jr. as it looked like elbowed Kalsher in the face there trying to block him out. So the ball will remain on Minnesota's side. And that's good because the Gophers are getting close to the bonus now as that's the 6th foul on Purdue.
Yeah, Minnesota has got 8 team fouls. Purdue's only had to shoot twice, though. And so hopefully Minnesota can get a few extra opportunities from the free throw line.
Mashburn thought about the 3. Instead, Robbins takes the 3. He was open, but it misses. Rebound, Purdue. Purdue and Hunter Jr. with 14 points now takes it up. He also only has 1 foul tonight. He's been probably the best player on the court. He passes this one to number 5, Newman. Newman to Stefanovic. Stefanovic to the elbow now. It's going to be Gillis who hands it off to Hunter Jr. No, it's Newman. And now Gillis for 3. This one just out. Eddie can't get the rebound. Great job by Robbins to block Eddie there. And will Kalsher shoot the 3? He will. And that's his 3rd of the night. Gabe Kalsher with the 3. And he's looking like the Gabe Kalsher of old. Gophers 55, Purdue 58.
Kalsher 50% from the three-point line. Let's get him another ball on the three-point line next possession.
Hunter Jr. with it now. Guarded tightly by Marcus Carr far side. But he avoids that, and they get it down to Eddie, and he just lobs it right over Robbins. Easy 2, 60-55 Purdue leads.
There's a reason that Eddie's still in there. The Gophers need to front him down low and be ready to help on the backside, force Purdue to throw that ball up and over Robbins.
Pick by Johnson, lets Marcus Carr on the near side. He steps back for the 3, not the right person to be taking the 3, and it's missed. Rebound Purdue.
Not really that open either. It was a pretty contested shot from Marcus Carr. You'd like to see a little bit more open before he shoots.
Hunter Jr. with it now. Far side to Gillis, guarded by Johnson. Eddie with it at the three-point line, and Liam Robbins runs up and whacks him there. So 3rd foul on Liam Robbins. And it's going to be free throws for Eddie when we come back, as it looks like we're going to head to our final media timeout of the night, Trask. But guess what? We're out of songs, and in this great close game, I think we're going to keep it here for a little bit. And if you're Coach Patino right now, what do you do in these next 4 minutes? And before I say that, they readjusted another one of those fouls, so Liam Robbins now has 4 fouls.
So was the foul that was readjusted the one that we thought would have been on him instead of Brandon Johnson, or we're not sure?
They didn't clarify. We're not sure. Most likely, we're probably wrong. The refs are right. That's my guess.
The first thing, if I'm Patino right now, is I'm looking at Robbins saying, stop showing up late and getting a foul. Every foul we've seen him commit tonight, he comes flying in late. It's not when he's down low, get caught up. No, it's he gets beat, and then he flies over and ends up fouling, making a dumb mistake. If you get beat at some point, you just have to let it go and hope that you have some help defense there to back you up. Secondly, I think the Gophers need to recognize that Gabe Kalsher is 50% from the three-point line for the first time for sure this season, potentially in the last year and a half. And so you got to get him the ball while he's hot. Get him another open look on the three-point line. Marcus Carr needs to stop taking contested shots. And, everyone needs to stop taking contested shots, but Marcus Carr specifically, we've seen take a lot of contested shots tonight, and they're not a lot of good shots, right? Long past the three-point line, off balance. So let's get open looks. Let's try to get it to Gabe Kalsher. Stay out of foul trouble, specifically Liam Robbins, and you'll be all right. I think the last piece is I just mentioned this, but I think Robbins needs to come out and front the big man Eddie down low. Make them throw the ball over the top. We did it once with Kalsher and Carr coming in behind. You got to try something else, but you can't let him get behind and spin around and then have an easy dunk in the paint.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Eddie so far. I mean, he's a true freshman from Toronto. 7-4, like you mentioned earlier, already 12 points today, hasn't missed a free throw, 4 for 6 from the field, and no fouls. So, and that's over, 16 minutes of game time? So I think this Purdue team is going to be a big threat in the coming years. I mean, they're already a top 25 team, and that's with majority underclassmen. So I think Coach Painter has them in a good spot for the next couple of years.
They do have a great guy leading this program into what seems to be, like you said, a really good next couple of years for this Purdue team. You mentioned they're ranked number 24. Gophers 4-0 at home this season against ranked opponents. So that is on the line tonight. They're also, trying to beat this Purdue team that beat them by 19 when they played a few weeks ago. And this Gopher team also has, some potential NCAA tournament, issues on the line when they haven't been playing well the last couple of weeks. And so now you go from a team that was going to be in a pretty comfortable spot going into March Madness. you're going to have to fight uphill the rest of the season and potentially in the tournament as well. So a win tonight would go a long ways in helping them out, I would think.
Totally agree with that, as it looks like they're breaking out of their huddles here from that timeout. That was most likely the last media timeout. That was the fourth of this half. 3:47 to go. Gophers down 55-60, and Purdue has free throws coming here. It's going to be a 1-and-1 though, as it was foul, not shooting foul, but they're in the bonus. So Eddie will get a free throw here. Brandon Johnson's had a sneaky good night, 7 for 9, 14 points, 6 rebounds, but 2 turnovers. Trask has talked about his struggles passing the ball today. Eddie makes the first.
Eddie 5 for 5 from the free throw line tonight. I expect another make here, and the Gophers are going to be down by 7 if he does.
Here is the second one, and it misses, but then the Gophers, Liam Robbins almost missed it there. Gabe Kalsher luckily gets the rebound as Marcus Carr will now bring it up. The Gophers have not been able to hold on to the ball well today, as they have 11 turnovers to Purdue's 8. Kalsher with it near side now to Mashburn. Mashburn to Carr. Off-ball foul is going to be on number 0, Gillis, and that'll put the Gophers in the bonus.
Yeah, this is big for the Gophers. 3.5 minutes left. You can now get to the line. On the day you're shooting 5 for 7. We've seen them shoot better this season from the free throw line, and so we'll see what they're able to do. Brandon Johnson has a great chance here to add on to an already outstanding day for him. He's the team leader in points. Let's see if he can capitalize on this moment for the Gophers.
So it's going to be a 1-and-1 for Johnson here. Here comes the first one, and it's in. 56 for Minnesota, 61 for Purdue. 3:28 to play. Second free throw coming from Johnson here. Second free throw is up, and it's off the back rim, no good. Rebound by Williams. Williams back in the game now as Eddie has been subbed out. Hunter Jr. bringing the ball up. Williams with it now. Williams has 20 points already. Drops it off to Stefanovic, who has 0 points. Back to Williams now. Robbins guarding him well, though, but Robbins has 4 fouls, and he lobs it up. Williams misses. Rebound, Brandon Johnson.
Good job by Robbins staying straight up there. We got to see him do more of that in the last 3 minutes.
Marcus Carr now gives it to Johnson, just past the elbow. Kalsher knocked his man Stefanovic over, and he's going to take a wide-open 3, and it's in! Gabe Kalsher cuts the lead in half, and the Gophers are down just 2 now, 59-61. That's Kalsher's 4th 3 of the night. He's been really hot today, and no surprise Purdue gets it into the paint with Williams against Robbins. Robbins is there, and it's a block by Brandon Johnson. Robbins has it. He was pushed there by Gillis, so it's going to be a foul. And Liam Robbins looks like he's in a lot of pain. He might have hurt his ankle.
They're getting him up right away. Might have just twisted his leg funny. He might go back down as he is limping his way across the court. He's going to have free throws to shoot. And it looked like his foot maybe just got twisted a little bit. It wasn't a direct two-handed push, but definitely caught, a shoulder from the Purdue Boilermakers, and he might not even shoot these free throws.
We'll see. I think from that last replay, it looked like it was just good old-fashioned Charlie horse. I think he hopefully is okay just wearing it off here. Looked like Patino walked over to him and said, "You good?" Okay, looks like Liam's ready to go. So here comes another 1-and-1 opportunity for the Gophers, down just 2.
Brandon Johnson doing a really nice job helping out down low there with Liam Robbins.
And the first free throw is missed. The Gophers are really struggling from the free throw line, shooting 60% today. Gillis, by the way, who had that last foul, is now also at 4, along with Robbins. So now Ivy driving, kicks it out. Far side 3 by Gillis is good, and he makes up for that 4th foul earlier. Purdue 64, Gophers 59. Carr almost turns it over. It was poked out of the hands by Hunter Jr. Robbins with it now. Robbins open elbow shot, And it goes in. A bit scary, but it works. 1:46 to go. Gophers 61, Purdue 64 as we have another timeout here.
Yeah, this one called by the Gophers. This may be just to give Robbins a second. He was still limping a little bit walking over to the huddle, so we'll see. But, Liam Robbins drives across, picks up the dribble, spins once, and then takes him a second to realize nobody is no longer guarding him. And so he's able to shoot the long two and make it. But I still think the Gophers try to get the ball into the hands of Gabe Kalsher at least one more time in this last minute 46. I know you're down by 3 and maybe a 2 would be better here, but he's been so hot like you said, Grant. He's already got 4 on the day. And I just think it makes sense to try to get him the ball one more time. And then after that, you can go for the quick 2 and try to claw your way back in.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, we've talked about how we're watching this remotely, broadcasting remotely with the monitors and the stream that the university gives us. We're also looking at the stats here, and they've readjusted another stat. Williams, number 50, only has 3 fouls now. So he originally was at 4. They adjusted that down to 3. So for those listening, Williams at 3 fouls for Purdue. Number 0, Gillis has 4. And Robbins also has 4 for Minnesota. So those are the situations for the fouls. In terms of the game, it's a close one. Purdue 64, Minnesota 61. Purdue will have the ball here coming off of a made shot by Liam Robbins. And like Trask pointed out, I think that timeout was likely called to make Liam Robbins feel better. He's still limping a little, but they need him for this last minute 46, trying to stay undefeated at home against ranked teams this year.
It'll be interesting to see what Robbins can do. It looked like something he can fight through, but hopefully it doesn't impact the last 90 seconds of this game.
Hunter Jr. brings it up past half court now. Far side drops it to Ivy. Ivy thought about driving, does drive, and it's going to be a travel called on Ivy.
I think that's the best I've seen Liam Robbins slide down the lane, maybe all season. He picks him up at the elbow and then shuffles his way down. He stays straight up. He doesn't lean forward. Great job, Liam Robbins.
Carr with it now. Picks up his dribble to Johnson. Johnson just tosses it back to Carr. Johnson thought about the 3. He'll drive instead. Kicks it out way too high. Oh, but it was tipped by Stefanovic of Purdue, so the Gophers will keep it. Let's see if they take this to review, because I personally did not see a tip.
It must have been more obvious on the court because Gabe Kalsher immediately pulled his hands down, so I think he saw the ball get tipped, and it doesn't look like anyone else had any objections, so I think we're good to go.
Kalsher inbounds it to Mashburn. Mashburn drives and is slammed away by Stefanovic, but the Gophers get it back. Carr with the rebound. Carr a long 3, and it's in. Marcus Carr ties it up. 64 apiece with a minute to go.
I don't like that shot at all, but he made it, so we're going to let it go.
And Matt Painter is a little worried as they call a timeout. Like we said, 64 apiece. 1 minute and 1 second to go. It's a very close game here at the barn in Minneapolis on the University of Minnesota campus. And this is a huge game, Trask. The Gophers right now expected to be about a 9 seed in the tournament. If you win this game, that's another big win for you, and you get the momentum back, hopefully win a few more headed into the Big Ten tournament. I think this Gopher team could flip it and maybe be a 6 or 7 seed.
I think that's very realistic. I think you could maybe even lose one more this season and still find it very realistic and very possible for you to move up 2, even 3 spots in that ranking. You know, with a minute left, Marcus Carr has been known to make those crazy shots towards the end of games. You know, that was a deep 3, and I would have never called that one to be shot there, but Marcus Carr obviously felt like he was open and drains that one. And so now with a minute left, Gophers just have to keep doing what they've been doing defensively, get Purdue to make the mistakes. You don't have to force anything, and then come down and make it happen offensively, whether that's in the paint with Robbins or outside with Kalsher. Gophers are in good shape here.
Purdue trying to get the inbound pass in, And they do to Stefanovic, back to Hunter. And Williams down low, misses it, but gets his own rebound. Can he miss? No. Oh, wow, the second one. And the third one, he slams it home. The Gophers couldn't believe it there, but the refs are pause and play here. Looks like another timeout by the Gophers. So to recap there, Williams gets it, misses the first one, rebounds his own shot, misses the second, almost tipped in by Gillis, rims out, right back to Williams' hand, and Williams slams it home, so Purdue's back up. To be honest, decent defense by Liam Robbins, just couldn't grab that first rebound, and that just kind of snowballed to that easy dunk.
Yeah, good job by Robbins, good job by Brandon Johnson. The only problem is after that first and second shot go up, Liam Robbins is just standing in the lane with his arms up, looking at the ball, where all he's got to do is turn, box out, and that's going to land right in his lap. And so that's something we haven't seen from the Gophers a lot all season, is boxing out as a team. But pretty good job by Robbins staying straight up. Now let's just see the next step in boxing those guys out down low so you don't give them 3-4 opportunities to make the basket. Now you're down by 2. I think you got to come down and just get a quick bucket. Or do you want to slow this one down here, Grant?
I think you got to move quickly here, because then if you don't make it, that just gives more time for Purdue to miss, to get fouls. I think you want to get this shot up as soon as possible, but make sure it's a good shot. You don't want to be taking a silly contested shot like we've seen the Gophers do in the last minutes of some other games. So Carr has it. He's going to crisscross, take a shot up, and it's going to be a block. Contested shot by Marcus Carr, but it works out as Gillis, and that's going to be Gillis's 5th foul, so he fouls out. And Marcus Carr is going to get 2 free throws, but it's not guaranteed to make these 2, as the Gophers only 6 for 10 from the line tonight. We'll see if Marcus Carr can make these.
Man, I think Marcus Carr might have gotten bailed out there. He just can't. We've seen him do this before. He came charging into the lane. Gillis near that arc, but he looked like he was there, set up, ready to go. And thankfully for the Gophers, it is called against Purdue, so you have 2 free throws. You have the opportunity to tie. Plus, there's 40.7 seconds left on the clock, so even if Purdue would wind this thing all the way down and make something, you're going to have at least 10 seconds to come down and make something happen, which is kind of how much time the Gophers like to have when they're trying to do something late in the game anyway. So Gophers in a pretty good spot here. Let's see if Marcus Carr can get this thing tied back up.
First one from Carr. Nothing but net. Easy there for Marcus. 65 Minnesota, 66 Purdue. 40.7 seconds to go. Possession arrow points to Purdue. Carr makes the second, so we're all tied up. Williams and Hunter Jr. are the 2 to keep an eye on for Purdue, as they've been the hot hands. Hunter Jr. has it now, guarded by Carr. Stefanovic now gets it into Williams, one-on-one with Robbins, and they're just kind of letting the 2 of them go at it. Let's see what Williams does. Spin move baseline, and he lays it in. 25.2, 68 for Purdue, 66 for the Gophers, and it'll come down to this. They'll want to get a shot off rather quickly as Marcus Carr hits the 3. Yes! Wow, Marcus Carr off the backboard and good.
Good thing it's not Sunday, because the bank had to be open for that one. Oh, my goodness. A long, contested 3 and a big smile on Marcus Carr's face. I mean, jeez. If it works for you, I guess it works. But the Gophers take the lead 69-68. Again, we see good defense there by Hunter Jr. of Purdue. He's got a hand in the face of Carr, but Carr just, takes a step back and hammers that one off the glass in. And so now the Gophers just have 11.2 seconds. You got to believe this ball is probably going into the hands of Williams. If not Williams, then probably Hunter Jr. But it's just got to be solid, straight-up defense for the Gophers. And whatever you do, you can't let them force you into a foul.
I'd agree with that. I think, however, though, if it's going to be an easy bucket for them, you might want to foul there so that it's not a guaranteed 2, because even a layup right now will put the Boilermakers ahead and win the game for them. So with 11.2, it'll be interesting to see what Matt Painter, the head coach for Purdue, draws up, as the refs are going to break up the huddles here. Marcus Carr, what a performance. 19 points tonight.
A quiet 19 points.
That is true. Well, 6 of it has come in the last minute here with a couple crazy three-pointers, and that's been something that's helped the Gophers tonight. They're shooting 29% from beyond the arc, something that they've struggled with a lot this year. They're 7 for 24. All 7 are between Marcus Carr and Gabe Kalsher.
Teams breaking the huddle here, and it's going to be interesting, like you said, Grant. How quickly does Purdue try to get this bucket in, or are they going to milk this one out and then try to get the last-second layup down low?
Stefanovic will inbound it to Morton. No, he fakes it there, gets it to Williams, down low on Robbins. Robbins trying to back him down. It's going to be a travel called on Williams. What a mistake there by Purdue. 7.4. The Gophers still lead by 1, and Matt Painter is furious on the sideline.
This is interesting because if he didn't travel there, probably not a foul on Robbins, but probably going to be one on Brandon Johnson, who came flying in and was airborne as this whistle was blown. I have not seen a replay.
So they're making a couple substitutions as Purdue. As Williams look like he has come out. Thompson is back in. These are likely just to avoid, they're going to foul here most likely as Johnson trying to get it in. They get it to Kalsher. Kalsher's fouled right away by Thompson. And so it'll be a 1-and-1 situation for Gabe Kalsher. Gophers up 69-68. Great foul by Purdue. That only took 0.2 seconds off the clock. And they're showing the replay here of Williams. Trask, let me know what you see here.
Man, I don't know. That's close. It's hard to tell. Again, if you were there. All right, 1-2, and then it looks like, that looks like it was the right call. He came down on the right, then the left, and then he took another little half step with the right. Again, good job by Robbins staying straight up there. But, again, I think the Gophers get bailed out there because Brandon Johnson was coming in hot, and he was going to hammer that ball and probably Williams on that shot as he's going to sub back into this game.
Kalsher hits the first, so they're up 70-68. Purdue still trying to figure out substitutions here before the second free throw for Kalsher. Right now they have Wheeler, Hunter Jr., Thompson, Ivy, and Stefanovic. Here comes the second one from Kalsher, and it's in.
And it looks like Eddie is also back into the game, the 7'4" center for Purdue.
And long cross-court pass, but it hits Liam Robbins, and it's going to go out of bounds. Purdue will keep the ball. So they threw it all the way cross-court, hits off Liam Robbins' hands, trickles out of bounds. Took a second off the time there. So there's 6 seconds to go. Minnesota 71, Purdue 68. They're going to need a three-pointer here. Who takes that shot if you're Purdue?
I think you have to have Hunter Jr. take this shot. He has led this offense all the way tonight. We are going to have a timeout called. This was an interesting play, though. They looked like they were trying to get the jump ball to Eddie, the big man, but you look at the replay, and Eddie didn't look like he knew the ball was even on its way. And so unfortunate that goes off Liam Robbins, but 6 seconds, they have plenty of time to get a screen or two in and get your guy exactly where you want him to be shooting from. As we look at this replay again.
Yeah, Eddie was clueless.
He just, and Liam Robbins saw it, and he saw it was coming right to him, and he just couldn't get 2 hands on it. But, so now you're down by 3. You look at the guys who are in right now, and even though Wheeler is 0 for 3 from the three-point line, I would probably Hunter Jr. is 0 for 2 from the three-point line. I've got to give it to him. He's 6 from 8 from the field with 14 points. Newman is the only one on the court who's had a 3 that went in tonight. So I don't know. Maybe it's kind of a tops up. See what Painter wants to go with right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they might use Hunter Jr. as a decoy, and then you have Newman open to shoot the 3. Yeah, and it's funny. They're showing that replay again. They're looking at it to see if they need to add any time back, I believe. It looks like maybe they'll add back to 6.3 or so. Not sure what the refs will decide here. But, yeah, like Trask said, Eddie, 7'4", great idea by Painter. Have him catch it and hand it off to someone. But Eddie wasn't ready for it. So they're looking now. They actually took time off the clock down to 5.2. That could hurt Purdue a decent amount here. Is that 0.8 seconds you can get a lot done in 0.8 seconds. So here they go. They're going to inbounds it. Stefanovic knocks over Kalsher. Purdue struggling to get it in. They have to loft it up to Stefanovic. Has it 3 seconds to go. Stefanovic step back 3, and it's going to be way short. The Gophers are going to win.
I have no idea what Purdue was doing on that play. Nobody set a screen. Nobody was doing nothing. Great defense by Gabe Kalsher and the Gophers, though, staying manned up, staying close by. Just, even if Stefanovic is the guy you want to shoot this ball, somebody has got to come screen or give him an opening to shoot. Gabe Kalsher plays too good of defense for nobody to help him out, and that shot not even close. Great finish by the Gophers.
And it looks like they're saying that they're going to call a foul right before the clock went out possibly, so there might be about 0.2, 0.3 seconds. If so, the Gophers will still get 2 free throws. You just need to make one of those, and that pretty much guarantees the victory. If you miss one, still almost impossible for Purdue. And looking back at that play by Purdue, I think they had a good plan, but they couldn't get the ball in those first 3 seconds, so they started getting worried, so they just lofted it to Stefanovic, and with that, they just couldn't do anything. And now the refs are looking. They say the clock was already dead, so no foul called. They just tossed the ball over to the scorekeeper, and they're leaving. The Gophers win 5-0 now at home against ranked teams this season, yet they still haven't won on the road. It's been a wild year for Gopher basketball, but another big victory over a top 25 team. Trask, what are your closing thoughts here?
A good finish by the Gophers. They end up shooting 45% from the field tonight. They end up shooting 29% from the three-point line. Couple big threes from Marcus Carr at the end. 4 for 5 of their last 5 shots. And this team, you had 11 turnovers still. That's definitely a point of concern that you have to look at going forward. But I think the win against Nebraska and now the win against number 24 Purdue is a great boost to this team to finish the season. Their next road game, I think, is the one to watch. If they can win that, I think they're going to finish this season strong and finish the season going into a Big Ten tournament, NCAA tournament, that they can be very competitive in. So I think a lot of good out of this game against Minnesota, a great response from the last time they played. And, all signs point north right now. They can only go up from here, and let's see how they respond to these 2 wins.
Completely agree, Trask. As always, great calling. Another Gopher Athletics game with you. It was an honor to do it, and on behalf of everyone at Radio K, Gopher Athletics, and everyone who tuned in, we thank you so much, and have a great night.